Hey everyone, it's we're in the Isle of Man. Finally, been a stressful time getting here. Gotta be honest. Wasn't the best crossing on the ferry. In fact, we've got a great view here of the whole kind of harbour area. It's real nice. Staying at the Manx Hotel. And we've just come back from a bike ride of an hour in length, no efforts, just riding the bike. And this is our hotel room. We've got 2 single beds, obviously. Got all my stuff in the corner right here. I've come with 2 Kitbrooks bags with everything in for the week, so for the weekend. We've got like a basic area. We have got a fridge, and we've got a pretty nice bathroom, gotta be honest. It's really nice. And I've just hand washed some kit, so that's drying there right now. So yeah, it's all built up to this. It is all built up to this, and I won't be. I've not been putting out videos this week. Last week at Eastbourne went really well. I was 9th. Jake won. So Jake, my teammate, won. James, my other teammate, was I think he was like 7th, and then I was 9th. And we managed to get a spot in the Tour Britain, so we've qualified for the Tour Britain. We qualified 2nd behind Canyon. Manx and Genesis qualified as well, but they've been pushed down to 3rd, just on point, but it doesn't really mean anything. But it's good because, you know, we all had our heads screwed on. We were all like mentally focused and ready for that race. We did everything possible to, you know, clinch it there and then, so that we didn't have to come to this race a week later and be all like stressed about, well, we've got to get riders up the road, we've got to beat, you know, the teams in 4th and 5th, whatever. So we don't have that stress now. So we've come to this race with, you know, no kind of Tour Britain stress. That's sorted. But we've come here to enjoy and to have a really good bike race. So that's what we're gonna do. And for me particularly, like, if you've been following the videos over the last kind of few weeks, whoa, as thin as my face look. Yeah, if you've been following along, like, I've been building up to this race, more importantly the hill climb, or the uphill time trial, which is tomorrow morning. We've not really talked much about it because we've got to get the crit out of the way tonight, which is like gonna be an hour and a bit long. So get that out of the way, and then we'll see where we're at tomorrow. But yeah, I'm still like really excited for the uphill time trial. I love a good uphill time trial. I love one. So that's my individual goal or target. We'll see where that takes us for the overall, for the GC. But yeah, in terms of, I just want to do a good ride there for my own personal satisfaction. It's nice to give yourself a goal, particularly this late in the year, in the road season. Give yourself a goal, give yourself an aim, and, you know, dedicate yourself for a couple of weeks, and, you know, hopefully it pays off with a really good result. You know, I'll take anything, but I know that I've prepared well. I've done everything that I could do, you know, with the circumstances. You know, late travelling here last night, getting here at midnight, you know, sleep wasn't great last night, but we'll try and make the most of it tonight. So I feel like this whole video, this whole vlog is going to be very sporadic. Like, it's not going to be much, it's going to be very personal, and there's not going to be much kind of content other than me talking, because I'm pretty, like, people have been asking me like, oh, have you made a video the last few days, have you done this? I'm like, no, I've been like too inside my own head, if that makes any sense, to do any of that. Like, I just wanted to clear everything and just be, focused on this week, even though, like I say, there's no pressure. I just wanna please myself, for my own sake, for my own sanity, and for my own goals. Morning everyone. Today's Sunday, although there's probably no way of me proving that. Actually, there is. It's called a phone. Or you can just go off the length of my facial hair growth, because I forgot my razor. So today's Sunday. Today's the final stage. I guess I need to summarise what happened and chat a little bit about yesterday, which was the hill climb and a road stage in the evening / afternoon. The first stage crit, there's not really a lot to talk about. It was just about conserving energy and not losing time. Unfortunately, I did lose time because one guy in the field didn't hold the wheel out to the final corner possibly, and caused a split. Probably my own fault for not being near the front, but you'd expect people to hold the wheel, particularly if you're not right far back. You're with the stronger riders near the front. So lost a couple of seconds there, which gave me a bit of extra motivation at the hill climb. And the hill climb couldn't have gone like any better. And I'm sitting here now and I'm proud. I'm not satisfied, but I'm proud with my effort. Like, I'm proud of the coming third. The amount of work and preparation I've put in to achieve that. I can be really happy with what I've done. The fact of the matter is, I'm not this light all the time, so for me to come down to this weight at a stage race and do it here rather than just doing it for a one-off hill climb event, it's a bit of an unknown for me. So I can tick that off and say that I'm capable of doing it. I'm not an out-and-out climber. Losing that weight and getting lean allows me to climb like that and produce, I think it's like 6.9 watts per kilo for 13.5 minutes. But interesting chat, it's not all about speed. It's not all about power when it comes to climbs like that. It's about speed, because the climb itself was very steep for the first kind of 4.5 minutes. And then it went downhill, you were doing nearly 60 kilometers an hour for about 30 seconds, and then it flattened out, and then it rose to the finish, and it finished off quite steep. And then you were able to get a lot out of yourself in the last part. When you know the climb and there's a descent and things, you can actually recover on it and not lose time, or not lose much. But yeah, you've got to ride to the climb. So, not giving away too many secrets, but you basically ride really hard for that first part, and then you back off. You ride, say, 40 watts below, which is what I did, and then you finish off, really strong. So I did something like 410 watts for the first 5 minutes, and then 380 for the next 4, I think, and then the last 5 was 425, 430 watts. So yeah, it was paced brilliantly, only to be beaten by Mark Christian, who rides for Wiggins, and has also ridden at a very, very high level. He's a great rider for Aqua Blue in the past, and Matt Holmes, who is also a very credible bike rider. So for Madison Genesis, so to be beaten by those two guys, then I can take that. That's 3 seconds. I lost 4 seconds to them. So yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, that's all I could have done was my own preparation. And hopefully you take away, I know it wasn't the best series leading up, because it's very difficult to show you everything, the ins and outs, but I tried my best really. And I think, you know, it doesn't matter what happens today, like hopefully there's a little bit of a message in what I've done, like how I've prepared and how I've, you know, focused on something and tried to achieve it, and getting on the podium, finishing third, you know, being in the hot seat for so long, only for the last two guys, or pretty much the last two guys off the start ramp to beat me by a very small margin. You know, I can say, hand on my heart, that I gave it my best. I prepared as well as I could have, and you know, I just did everything. And sometimes that was my goal. You know, that's all I wanted to do, and hopefully that message doesn't get lost in all the competitiveness that we seem to have, like in the sport. Like, I just want to say, this is what I've done, this is what I wanted to achieve, and you know, I've done my own personal best to get there. So 407 watts for 13.5 minutes, you know, it's way above what, you know, personally I thought I could achieve, but I prepared well and I did the best I could. So today, the road race, we're just gonna, well, we haven't had a team talk about it yet, because it's gonna start at 1 and it's 9:15 now, so we've got plenty of time. We don't want to stress about it too much, but it's on the Isle of Man TT course, for those of you that know. So we have to go up the big mountain 3 times, and then the finish is in Douglas. So we get to the top of the mountain the last time up, which takes around 15-20 minutes, depends on the wind direction, and then big descent then into Douglas to finish. So it's all going to kick off for sure the last time up the climb, I think. For sure, I think, yeah, whatever. But yeah, like I think it's gonna be one of those days where we're gonna have to be very attentive. I think Madison are gonna be very strong. They've got strength in numbers, as do we. But yeah, like Madison, Matt Holmes has got a strong team there to ride for him. Canyon have got a good team of climbers. So see what they do. Maybe they throw the cat amongst the pigeons early doors, the first time up the climb, get rid of a lot of riders in the bunch maybe. There's only 75 riders here anyway, so it could well make for like pretty hard racing all day. So fueling is going to be extremely important. But yeah, I mean, the race basically finishes at the top of that last climb, so yeah, we'll see. I'm like, so, but I feel good. I don't even feel like I've raced the last 2 days. It was really beneficial actually to do that mock. I wanted a different name for it. That kind of test period that I did, where I did like basically the same format we're doing now this weekend. I did it at home, and I felt really good doing it. So I'm glad I did it, because I know what to expect today.
Round 9 of the HSBC British National Road Series was the newly reconstituted, reimagined and reinvented Manx International, a 4-stage event with the 4th and final stage taking place over 3 laps of the traditional and famous 37.7 mile international TT motorcycling circuit, which was also used for the Manx International races, many of them from 1936 through to 2003. The early attacks taking place with Ben Healy launching off the front and helping to create a group of 7 riders clear of the field in the early stages, including Pete Williams of SwiftCarbon Pro Cycling. Adam Kenway was in there, Angus Fife of Cycling Ulster. Eventually they would be retained by the main peloton, led by the team of the overall race leader, Madison Genesis, there for Matt Holmes, the race leader, defending that narrow 1 second advantage over Mark Christian of Team Wiggins-LeCol. It was Team Wiggins-LeCol that were putting as many riders up the road as they possibly could to test the Madison Genesis squad. Johnny McAvoy doing what he could to try and keep these riders honest. Rob Scott from Wiggins-LeCol, Matt Bostock as well from the Canyon DHB squad, pressing on, but eventually they would be dragged back by a dwindling group of favourites as the hills and indeed the weather started to grip. And it was the orange jersey of the overall race leader, Matt Holmes, that would press on the final lap, the third and final lap. 182 kilometres in total for the riders, and the 25-year-old from Wigan in that orange jersey deciding that attack, the best form of defence. Ed Laverack there as well, climbing very well, the 25-year-old SwiftCarbon Pro Cycling rider. And Paul Wright, the young New Zealander from Zappy's racing team, also involved with that three-rider group. But Holmes not waiting for anyone on the closing stages, coming down off the mountain, off Snaefell, and heading towards the finish line on this fourth and final stage to defend his race leader's yellow jersey, and indeed confirm that he would take that orange jersey, the fourth and final one, the one that really mattered, as he took the fourth and final stage ahead of Ed Laverack.
Okay, so by the power of YouTube, it is now like 2 days later after the Manx International. I am useless at this stuff. Travelled forward in time now, so it is now Monday. I don't even know what day it is. It's Tuesday. It's Tuesday. I've actually been out on the bike today. I've done 2.5 hours, nearly 80k. Got caught in the rain, got very, very wet, very cold, so decided to come home. But I'm guessing you're not here to hear about my ventures today. I guess you're here to hear about what happened on the weekend, considering I think the last time I left you, it was post-hill climb, pre-Kermesse, pre-final stage on the Sunday. So the Kermesse, like, nothing happened. It was like a sprint finish, and it was very fast, very dangerous. At least I thought it was dangerous, but I'm like a wimp, so probably wasn't dangerous at all. But it ended in a bunch sprint, which my ex-teammate Ed Clancy won, so yeah, fair play to him. That was his second stage win out of the 4 stages that were there. Actually, speaking of which, Matt Holmes won 2 stages as well, so 2 riders won all 4 stages of the race. Pretty incredible. Anyway, the main race that we all came to see was the road race on the last day, and the road race basically ended in a very, very reduced bunch finish. In other words, there was like, well, one of us, Matt, he won the stage. But I was behind with Paul Wright, I think it's Paul Wright, from Zappy's, very good under 23 rider, and he is coming through strong from the Southern Hemisphere. I gotta be honest, and this is why it seems very weird, like talking to a camera and like explaining to you like how I felt and things, but I'm just gonna talk to you as if I'm talking to, like, as if you were sat like right there. Basically, like, I felt really good all weekend. I didn't feel tired. I felt like super fresh. All the stages leading up to the last stage, like, basically, I don't think took anything out of me whatsoever. But then again, like, they weren't really hard efforts. Like, the crit was, yes, I guess it's hard, but it's only for like an hour. The hill climb, yeah, it's hard, but it's only for like 13 minutes. So there was no real fatigue, but then everybody knew that the last race, the road race, which was 3 laps of the Isle of Man TT course, was going to be brutal. The weather was horrendous. I'm going to put some pictures up right here. It was just like, well, put it this way, like, I could not see, you know, the dashes in the middle of the road, the paint, like, you could not see, like, maybe, I don't know, 7 to 10 in front of you. Like, that's as far as you could see at the top of the mountain. But it wasn't much better like further down at sea level. It was still like really misty. There's actually a photo of the finish, and like you can hardly see the background. But the race like panned out perfectly, I guess, for Madison, and I guess for us as well. Like, break went, Madison Road, we had our first P stop, and then, oh, by the way, I really needed that. Like, you know, sometimes, I don't know what it is, like, when it rains, I feel like I need the toilet more. Like, only when I'm on the bike, obviously, not when I'm just, but when it rains, like, I feel like I'm absorbing the water, and I just need to,
I don't know, like stop and let it go. I have no idea. And I'm not going to talk too much about power numbers here because I don't want to fill this video full of like number crunching. So what I'm just going to do is you can either go to my other social medias and like see Instagram and Twitter and whatnot. In fact, there's a good breakdown on Twitter. If you follow me on there, good for you. But if not, get on it. I'll put everything at the end of the video. So like right at the end, I'm going to put like all the little data blocks for you so you can see everything going on. The climb is very, very long, as you'll see from the data. But the actual steep part is like comes in the first like 10 minutes. The whole climb takes you around about half an hour to get over because it's a lot of false flat at the top. Didn't really work. Like domestics were pulling for the leader. And once they were all done, like, he didn't really want to go, so it was like a bit of stalemate going on. Madison took over again, and they rode over the top of the climb, and then, of course, there's one lap to go. So, up to this point, like, I'd only actually drunk 2 bottles. Like, I'd actually drank very little. I'd eaten very little as well, but I just felt good. Like, I felt good all day, and my heart rate was super low. My actual effort was really low the whole day, and I was just itching. I was itching for that final climb. And I kind of we spoke amongst ourselves in the team, and we were like, you know, it's been a fairly easy race up to this point. And what I vocalised was, I need to make it as hard as possible at the bottom. Again, this is just my like personal recollection of events, but I had it in me, like I was like, I've got to make it hard, like as soon as possible. The harder I make it, then the more of the climb we have to go, you know, and the more time we can take, and everything just multiplies. So going through my head at the time, I was like, right, this is it. We're going to hit the bottom of the climb. I'm going to be the first one to go, and then we're just going to keep going, and see what happens. I never once doubted that I would get dropped or I would blow, and that's pretty incredible because I don't think I've ever been in that position before, ever. Like, I don't think I've ever mentally thought that I am so prepared that I cannot. I mean, obviously, the hill climb result helped that because, you know, I knew I was, you know, in the top kind of 5 or 10 climbers in the race. But mentally, it's a whole different ballgame. And going into the bottom of the climb, Madison let it out. They used like all their riders to come into it, and then, you know, boof, 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 they just all kind of popped off one after the other, but they did a great job all day. I tried something really early right at the bottom of the climb. They got 2 climbers. One of them went and then was soon brought back, like maybe a minute later after the hairpin out Ramsey, and after that it all stalled, and I was like, right, now's my chance to go. So I went on the right hand side of the road. It wasn't explosive, but what I wanted to do was go longer than people might have expected. So rather than just like attacking and digging in for a minute, I wanted to dig in for 2, maybe 3 minutes. And what I thought would happen was, you know, sometimes maybe you've had this on like a chain gang. I don't know who I'm talking to right here, but maybe you've had this on a chain gang where you've gone, you've followed somebody and you're like going up a climb and you're like, whoa, this is really hard. And then all of a sudden, like, you're like, oh, they can't do this anymore. They're going to blow at some point, but then they keep it up and they keep it up, and you're like, well, I can't do this. And then you, like, back off and try to pace it, and they just ride off. That's what I was hoping would happen. But, of course, a lot of the times people just attack. They dig in for a minute, and then eventually the pace does, you know, relent, and then everyone can recover. But I wanted to extend that period. So I rode, like, way over, like, 430 watts for 2.5 minutes or something, and then finally came back. It lulled, it spread out. There was like 15 of us in the group. I backed off to the back of the group, and then I went again about a minute later on the other side of the road. Now, it didn't really break up the second time, but again, it just put more pressure on. Then went through a hairpin, it eased off again, and then I went again for a 3rd time. And it was the 3rd time that I got a little bit of a gap, I think, or the 4th time maybe. But I was pretty impressed with myself. Like, I'm proud of myself to be able to go over and under. And then yeah, like the 3 of us got away. Me, Matt, the race leader, and the Zappy rider. So we went away to the finish, and yeah, that's how it ended, basically. There was a fast, dodgy descent. You couldn't really see the corners because it was so thick and cloud. But he put some time into us in the last few corners because disc brakes. They do actually make a difference, I find, in the wet, because I've used both. So yeah, but it was a really good race. Really good.